Stay tuned to the end of this episode. I don't like that. All right, welcome back to Rebuilding Generations. This is Kevin Keep here, and we are here tonight. The Mustang is not. The Mustang is currently over at Kenny's Rod Shop. Kenny Welch found out about our program. We needed a booth. Let us use his booth. So Neil is actually over there right now working on the car. It's got the primers on it. He's getting ready to lay the color on it tomorrow and the graphics on Tuesday, and so we'll have it back here next week. But in the meantime, we've got a few parts that we're finishing up here. We found some flaws today. So we have Evan Brown here. And Evan, why don't you tell them a little bit about how you found out about the program and why you're here?
I found out how to get into this program by a sponsor because my career is racing. I'm a professional racer. So one of my sponsors knew you and the program. So one of my hobbies, I've always wanted to build cars, so I was like, yeah, I want to go really bad. So I came here and I've learned so much from.
Well, you're learning paint and body work.
Yeah, paint and
Let's
body
hope you don't use this in your race car.
Yeah.
So he's actually here with his dad. So it's actually really cool to have a father and son in the program here working side by side on this. Evan is a little shy and bashful, but you've been racing since you were how old, Evan?
4.5.
4.5 years old. And this year you are going to be what?
First.
First. He's going to be first. He's got a few firsts this year. And I think you've got Rookie of the Year coming up too, right? Awesome. The kid is an awesome driver. And what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Inex Legend. It's sort of like the older cars, like the 1937 Chevy. Like, I have a sedan of that, just miniaturized, and it has a 1200cc Yamaha motor in it. It turns sideways.
Awesome. And Dad, you support him with this program?
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually here in the program. He's been a huge help. He does most of the work on the race car with his son, so they get to work hand in hand on that. And that's a lot about what this program is about, you guys, is we're having fathers and sons working side by side on some amazing projects. They're learning things in the program here that they can take with them into the racing industry as well. So thank you guys, we appreciate it. So let's check out what's going on inside. All right, so we're now inside the shop, and we've got the Duster up here. We've got a lot of work going on the Duster right now. We are taking the Duster down to Southern California for a racing event. Hotchkiss puts on an event down there at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. And so we're excited to actually have this car on the track, use it for what we've intended it to be. So we've got a few guys in here. So welcome, guys. We've got Jeremy down here. We've got Harmon, we've got Brandon, we've got Joe, and we've got Josh. Sounds like a lot of J's, doesn't it? So, but the J crew. So you guys you think we're going to be ready for the race?
Oh, last week.
I don't know.
The last week? Wait a second, we've got more than a week. I think the event is actually the 14th or the 16th. So if you are in Southern California and you're watching this and you want to see some really cool cars and see a really cool event, John Hotchkiss and his crew, they know how to put on an awesome event. So you want to come out and check that out, that's for sure. We'll be down there. You can meet some of the crew, and you can be able to see the Duster in action. And we will also have a sneak peek of the Mustang will be down there as we're going to California that week, in addition to get the interior done at TMI Products there. So you'll get to be the first ones to see it with the interior in it. So it'll be a little sneak peek before SEMA. So we're pretty much good to go. You think we got a few more things on this? A few little tweaks here and there?
Always can have room for improvement, but we really like the adjustability of the Hotchkiss. It's given us all kinds of options to make it even better.
And Jeremy, you have a little bit of hands-on with this car, right?
Yeah, so a few things here and there, get it ready to go.
Jeremy fabbed up all of our exhaust in here. He checked out the suspension and a few other things with us. He worked with the tranny. He's done the roll cage in here. He's done quite a bit of work to it. He's an amazing fabricator, been in the industry for a long time. Another guy that's an industry icon, has his own business, J&M Fabworks. And so he supports us, we're supporting him. And it's great to have guys that have tons of experience and tons of knowledge that they can pour into this younger generation and teach them. I'm sure you had guys that taught you.
Oh, yes.
You know, and Joe definitely has had guys. Joe's been a big part of, he's got 5 boys, just like I do. And so he's raised 5 of them up, a lot of them in the industry as well. Brandon, your dad has been in the industry for quite some time. Yep. Josh, how about you?
My grandfather built cars, and that's about it. My family's been into cars for a long time, and I just kind of got into it from there.
Awesome. And Harmon, of course, he's my son, so he's into cars with me. So willingly and non-willingly at some days. All right, guys, we appreciate all your hard work and all your hard efforts in here. Up next, we have an interview with Kenny Welch from KRS.
Good evening, Ian Burnett here with Rebuilding Generations. We have the privilege of being with Kenny and Dana from Kenny's Rod Shop, now KRS. It's actually a privilege to have you here. We thank you for coming over. I've actually been over at Kenny's shop all day today and yesterday as well with Neil. We've been working on the Mustang. Kenny was gracious enough to let us use the paint booth, and what a phenomenal paint job is coming out as. But Kenny, we talked about the other day how you got involved in not only the hot rod business, but you're also a race car driver, as well as some of the cars you built are just absolutely gorgeous. Part of the Grade 8 for the Riddler, which we saw that car, very, very impressive. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the hot rod industry.
Well, for me, my father was a longtime hot rodder. He's in his 70s, and I've grown up around it, so I've loved it. I started out with Volkswagens, believe it or not, and that's where I learned a lot of my metal skills and cutting things up, and it's where I met my wife through my Volkswagen. So, and then we knew as life progressed, I would get into more of the hot rod things and stuff like that. And I've been blessed to have, in high school, I had a phenomenal auto body teacher that taught me a lot of things and stuff like that. And then my dad and I, we worked together well, and I learned a lot of my skills and stuff from him. Even though he was in the computer industry, he was a hot rodding dude. So.
Well, very good. I met your dad yesterday and had a great conversation with him. I didn't get much done, neither did he, because we sat and talked about the Nova for half the day. But so Dana, you support Kenny with the racing side of it, because we see you on Facebook all the time. Tell us a little bit about how that fits together.
It fits together because I would like to see him and spend time with him. So in order to do that, no, I'm just kidding. It's pretty fun. I mean, who doesn't want to see their husband go 200 miles an hour? I actually don't, but I do, because there's a lot of great people. It makes him happy. He makes me happy. So it all just kind of blends together.
It's a neat thing that we get to do it with, like our last race, our son went and helped us, and a good friend and stuff. So it's the racing thing is yet another extension of a family, but it's a racing family. And having my wife there is a total blessing and an honor for me. I mean, she's the last person I want to see when
I just was telling the story outside that I used to wet sand for him in high school, because that's how I got to spend time with him. So I would say, what are we doing tonight? I've got to do some wet sanding. Well, I'm going to come over and help you wet sand. So
how cool.
It's just kind of, I mean, we met at 16 when I complimented his vehicle. I literally saw him every day of my life since that day. And cars were his life, so they became my life.
So high school sweethearts.
Yes.
I have a high school sweetheart. We've been married many years. I'm going to say I just had my 40th high school reunion, so yes, we've been together.
Awesome.
So high school sweethearts is really cool and near and dear to my heart. But when we were over at your rod shop, I was super impressed with the type of work that you have going on there, as well as the collection of machinery that you have over there. There is nothing that you don't have that you can't build. The guys that were over there were doing a great job. The cars were beautiful. And I can't thank you enough for letting us over there. You mentioned your son, and it's important with Rebuilding Generations, we're teaching the youth about the industry. Can you kind of give us a little bit of insight on that, what direction you think that's going and how important it is?
Yes, for me, it's a privilege to have my son, my oldest son, work for me, and I have my sister in the office, and then my dad comes in once in a while. But having my son there is really neat because I see the industry, the hot rod industry, it's changed a lot in the 26 years that I've owned the business, and it's different cars, different times. So it's neat to instill what I know that I've learned from some old timers and myself into my son and the future generations, which is why I think what you guys are doing here is so neat, because it's almost a dying breed. I mean, it's a changing times. I mean, you know, it was the hot rodding craze was your generation, right? You know, and I was blessed enough that my dad was probably your age, that he passed it on to me, and I like passing it on to my son. So it's a neat thing to see it continue to grow, and what you guys are doing here with the older cars and the classics and stuff like that, because it's a dying breed, and it's neat to see it get carried on, because these cars will be here forever. They'll outlast us, and somebody needs to work on them and make some smoke and tire rubber and stuff like that going around. So I'm blessed to have my son do it, and it's neat the experience I had with my father, being able to work together, and even my grandpa. He was a farmer, but he was, I watched him mechanic things and this and that. So to be able to have my son there, I'm very proud of that. Yes, very proud of that.
Very good. It is a very neat industry to be in it. And there was a gentleman in my life a long time ago that kind of steered me in the right direction. And I was blessed to meet that gentleman. And that's why we're part of this program. That's why we do it in the shop. And that's why we try and instill not only the car side of the culture to the kids, but also, show up to work on time. And these make good employees for like yourself. And that's what we're trying to do with the program. Exactly. So anyway, I appreciate it. We're really happy to have you involved in the program. We're going to get to use some of your skills. We're going to suck your dad into the program too.
Looking forward to it.
And by the way, he says finish his car.
Yep. Yeah, I can believe that. Thank you for having us. We're looking forward to being part of this. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thanks guys for watching. We had a great interview with Kenny tonight from KRS. And stay tuned for next week when the Mustang comes out. It's going to look amazing.